Hey friends, it's Jen. It's been a little while since I had a video on my YouTube channel. Just wanted to let you guys know I'm still here. I have been posting videos over on the Hip Kit and Altenew YouTube channels, so if you're looking for some videos for me, you can check over there, but I will have more videos on my channel soon. I asked on Instagram, I had this huge stack of layouts, which this is just a pretty thing to look at while I talk to you for a sec, but I have a big stack of layouts that I need to put in albums, and I thought I would show them to you before I put them away, especially because as I was going through them, I realized there were several that I hadn't shared, because I've been trying to make an effort to do some projects that I just do for fun, for no reason. I don't have to worry about filming them. I don't have to worry about doing them for a design team or anything like that. So I want to share those with you, and it's a big stack, so let's get into it. I'm gonna start, they're in no particular order, so I will try to tell you if they were just a random layout or if I did them for a design team or what I did them for as I go. All right. First up, we have this one called YOLO Lovely. This is a story about how I accidentally dropped my phone and it took this picture of my chest. This was one I just made for fun using some tags and my stash. The Maggie Holmes sticker book is what I used for most of the embellishment. So that was fun. And I have this one, which was made for Hip Kit Club. I wanted to try to use some cardstock because I have a hard time using cardstock sometimes. So a good way to use it is to make some layers in an ombre fashion, and I used a whole bunch of embellishment that way. This one was also for Hip Kit Club, and I used a bunch of really skinny strips of paper and some mixed media in the background, and a bunch of apples. That was a fun one. These are some fall kits, obviously. This was a layout that I made for Altenew, just showing some of these pattern stamps. So this whole background is stamped, which was fun. And how you could make a Halloween layout without Halloween products. I only used a few little puffy stickers, but the rest of it was just random stuff. This one was made for Hip Kit Club. I like to, if I want to use a bunch of embellishments, a good way to do it is to showcase them on one side of the layout. This one was for Hip Kit as well, using that same kit. This one, I've been doing a lot of rainbow kind of layouts lately, but this one has my nephews on it. Just a cute, simple little story there. This is one that I actually created at a crop, but I did share it in a layout share because I created it using the Pretty Little Studio. I can't remember the collection name right now, but it's designed by Kim Watson. If I remember to, I'll insert it in the video. But I just made this using that collection, as well as this one. Again, these are in a layout share. This uses a cut file that I gave away for free in my Facebook group, which is called Crafty Use It or Lose It. This also uses that collection, and I just used a bunch of strips and a border punch and layered them all up together and kind of did them in ombre fashion. This was one that I just did when I was scrapbooking with some friends. This follows a sketch that I gave away in my Facebook group. I try to do a freebie every Friday. I sometimes don't, like last Friday I did not, but I usually do. So anyway, that one's a fun one. And this just uses stuff from my stash Maggie Holmes sticker book. I was trying to use that up. This is using an Allie Edwards Stories by the Month kit, and I think it's a Stories by the Month kit. It might be a story kit, but I'm pretty sure it's Stories by the Month. And just I was playing with watercolor when my nephews were over one day, and I just decided to cut it up and use it for a background for a layout. And this is not glare on the picture, this is the actual photo, that's the sun. This one is using a Hip Kit, along with an exclusive cut file. Very, very fun. This one was made using the Pink Paisley Horizon collection by Paige Evans, and I have been using that for my, what is it called? I can't think of words right now, guys. It's a series where I take a single collection. It's called Collection Disconnection. Single collection and make a bunch of different kinds of layouts with it. So this was for Collection Disconnection, as was this one. So this one I cut up an entire sheet of patterned paper. I fussy cut it, which is crazy, but I like doing stuff like that. And then on this one, I stitched on the background. So these are the kinds of things I do when I'm like watching TV or something. But yeah, that's just a layout about my daughter. I think there's a process video on both of those. This one is a layout I made for an Allie Edwards story kit. I think it's called the Family Story Kit, if I'm not mistaken. Love that one. It's very neutral, which is different for me lately. This one was created for Hip Kit Club, and I think there's a process video. It might be on the Hip Kit channel. But I just fussy cut some flowers from this awesome Dear Lizzie paper. Did some stamping. Very cute. These are my brother's puppies. This one was for Hip Kit Club, and I'm pretty sure there's a process video for that. This was also for Hip Kit Club, using a lot of Paige Evans Truly Grateful in these kits. Very fun. I think I did a process video on this. This was just a random layout that I created because I wanted to make something, and I played around with some mixed media on the background, and then I used this picture of Shamel and I and this paper that I made her sign while we were at the scrapbook store. And then also this is a stamp that I no line colored, so I stamped it in a super light color and then I painted it with watercolors, and I think it turned out so pretty. It's an Altenew stamp. This is one of my stamps, and this is too one that Arit designed. Very fun. Anyway, so I just used some Shamel stuff and some crafty stuff on that. The next few are a series of layouts that there is a layout share for on my channel that I created using my Adorn It alphabet. So I used them as a template for stitching on this page with my cute little nephew. And then I used it for a title on this page. And then I also used my stamps with some no-line coloring for this. I just love the look of no-line coloring. So you just stamp in a light color and then paint it in. So pretty. And then I stamped the title. This is using some Vicky Boon stuff. Just a few things. This is also using my Adorn It Alpha, and I show this in my layout share video as well. I think there's a process video for this, but I can't remember. This is using the Allie Edwards Play Story Kit, and I just cut the title multiple times out of different colors of cardstock and layered it together to make a rainbow, which was fun, and I talked about my puzzle obsession. This was a layout I made at my friend Marta. She always hosts these fun little crops for us, and we took a bunch of pictures. And this one was really fun because we printed these out right away. So we took these photos and scrapbooked them in the same night with everyone that was there. Deanna's eyes were closed in this photo, so I put some puffy sunglasses on her. But I used my foil quill from We Are Memory Keepers, and I used it to trace over a stamp, which this is my lovely peony stamp, and I don't know if you can tell, it's gold foiled. There you go. Which is so cool. And then I also used it to write the names on our Polaroids, so that was a fun one to do. And then there's also a stamp from Altenew on there, so very, very fun, and uses lots of photos, right? This was one that I did for Hip Kit Club, and I used a cut file as a stitching template. Labor of Love. This was one that I made at the crop with my friends, and we were challenged, like we give each other challenges, so the challenge for this one was to use an entire package of something. So I used these basic gray Highline, I think is the collection, stickers. I used all of them on one page, so that was fun. This was another challenge. I can't remember what the challenge was. I think it was paper only. So this doesn't use anything but paper except for on the butterflies. And I think maybe that the butterflies were like that before I put them on. But yeah, this is a paper only layout, I'm pretty sure. So that was fun. This was a layout I created for Hip Kit Club using a bunch of mixed media and then die cutting it out using some Altenew dies. That one was very fun. There's a process video for that. The next few are layouts showcasing my Cypress alphabet, and so it's a large uppercase alphabet. There's a piece of hair on here. I can't handle that. Okay. So they all showcase that. They're in a layout share video, so I won't go into detail on them. But there's that one. Here's this one where I used it as a stitching guide, which I absolutely love. And photos of me and my bestie using the old app. This one I love. These are pictures that my sister sends me. This was actually, oh yeah, this was part of that too, using the alphabets. This one as well, I also used the Adorn It Alpha with it. Just a fun little pink, this is Pink Fresh Studio, some of these embellishments, and then some Heidi Swap too. It's just kind of a random mix of stuff from my stash. This is a Hip Kit layout, and this one was fun. I like doing the ink blending on the background. I gotta do that again. I think it turned out really pretty. This was also Hip Kit, and I stitched on this pattern paper. I was in a stitching mode for a little while, but I love this. And then I also stitched on the background, the mixed media background that I did. So that was fun. Here's another Hip Kit with mixed media on the background. I'm really happy with the colors and the way that this one turned out. I think it's so pretty. So fun, and a good way to showcase a bunch of embellishments. These didn't necessarily have anything to do with the photo, but I was talking about how they hang out all summer, so I just used summer icons, and I think that works. This was a layout I created using a cut file that was free in my group. I backed it with a ton of sequins. I think I shared this, but I can't remember. Anyway, if I didn't, there's sequins behind this cut file. This one was a collaboration that I did with Persnickety Prints. They had just come out with their film strip photos, and I absolutely love these film strip photos. I want to order some more, actually. Let me say actually too many times. But I used the Chamel, I can't remember what this collection is. It was the one she came out with at last Creativation, so... but I used that collection along with some of my stamps, and I love it. It's so cute, my nephew. Alright, this one is a Hip Kit layout. I did a bunch of messy machine stitching in the background, which I think gives a really fun texture. This one was just a random for fun. I was trying to use up these little square pieces that I had in my stash before I got rid of them, and so I just decided to make a little grid layout. This one, I think I just was trying to use up a hip kit. There were a couple hip kits where I had like leftover time. I don't know if it was leftover time, but I made time and scrapbooked in bed with the leftovers from a couple of my hip kits, and this was one of the kits that I did that with. So this was a layout I just made for fun, using a bunch of strips of random pieces of paper, and the paper was from my stash, but the embellishments were from the hip kit. This is another one that I made using the hip kit, and I don't think this one, I think this one was just for fun too. Just using a bunch of hearts in a rainbow. Gotta love the rainbow. This one was just for fun. I was trying to use up a background, and I just used random bits and pieces from a bunch of random stuff. The thing I like about this one is that I used a die for the word details, but I cut it out in yellow, so you can kind of see the yellow on the sides. and I like that look. So I stacked it, so I did like 3 times in yellow and then once in white, and it looks really cool. And I used some of my stamps on here too. So that was fun. This is another hip kit layout. I think I made this one just for fun too. This one uses large die cuts, so you only need a few and then you're done embellishing. So some of those older packages that have the huge die cuts, I think this is a good way to use them. This is another one I used to use up some of the hip kits, and again using some of those large Vicki Boutin die cuts and just putting random stuff on a page. Love it. This one is using the Ali Edwards August Stories by the Month kit, and this was one of the cards and I die cut it out to make my title, Lemonade. The word sunshine I hand wrote and cut it out in silhouette. And then I put stickers all around the edges. I think that there is maybe a process video for this. I'm not exactly sure. Guys, I can't remember when I did process videos. This is a layout I used a Felicity Jane kit for, and I think I made it just for fun, but I might have done it on a video. Can't remember now. This was random. I was trying to use up some backgrounds, so I just put a bunch of circles and stuff on a layout that I had been meaning to use for a long time, so it's kind of a random little layout there. This one was for Hip Kit. I'm pretty sure there's a process video. If not on my channel, then it's on the Hip Kit channel. And my cute girl. This one was also for Hip Kit. day@scrapbook.com. I can't remember if this was on a video or not. I wasn't super thrilled with this one, so I don't remember if I put it on a video or not, but there it is. Here is a picture of Vicki Boutin and I, and so because this hip kit focused on her collection, I decided to use it, and this does have a video. This was using up some hip kit leftovers that I just made for fun. This is FaceTiming my in-laws when they were living in Africa, and I used these little speech bubbles to make a heart. I thought that was cute. Fun, fun. This was for Hip Kit Club as well. Just making a strip of, you could make multiple photos here, or I just used some of these little frames and put embellishments inside. This one was also for Hip Kit Club. This was a fun one to create. I like the kind of nestled title and embellishments here, and then I stitched on a strip of sequins and then added these little tassels into it. So that was a fun one. This one's also for Hip Kit Club. Pretty sure there's a video on that. This one's for Hip Kit Club as well. I think that I might have just made this one for fun, but I used some of these little Polaroids that were from the cut apart. If you have a hard time using those, I think it looks nice to sprinkle them in with other photos, especially these photos are black and white, so it makes them still stand apart from them. Alright, this layout was using the July Stories by the Month kit from Ali Edwards. We are still going here, about a little more than halfway through. This one is for my collection Disconnection series using the Horizon collection. This layout was made, I think, last year during my stash busting month in my Facebook group. And if you're looking forward to that, it is coming in February. We're doing a stash busting month in the Facebook group. So be sure to join us there. There will be lots of freebies and prizes and stuff like that. And inspiration. This was one that I used leftovers from a hip kit to make about my daughter potty training. I thought You Go Girl was funny for that. Oh, this one's actually one that Malia made using some of my hip kit leftovers. So that was fun for her. This was one that I made during Stash Busting Month last year. As was this one. A lot of these have like real-time process videos in my Facebook group, so you can check those out, but there is a layout share, I think, on the YouTube channel. This one was also for Stash Busting Month, talking about busting some leftover chipboard pieces. This was Stash Busting Month as well, using up an unused embellishment pack. So I had these basic gray transparencies. This one was also for Stash Busting Month, using the free cut file that I created. This was also for Stash Busting Month, and this used a sketch and also a llama, which I found hard to use, but I had pictures of llamas, so I used it. Actually, I think they're alpacas, but either way. This is one, I can't remember if I made this for Stash Busting Month or just for fun, but this was one where I used the rainbow, I used some, I painted the word art, and then I embellished by color. And this is using a bunch of Amy Tangerine stuff. And this transparency is from the Vicky Bouton, what are they called? The mixed media paper that she sells. This one is for the Horizon, no, I lied. This has some of the Horizon collection in it, but this is for Hip Kit. So that was a Hip Kit one. This one was using leftovers from my Hip Kit. My Novocaine smile. This one was also random story about my husband clipping his nails out the window, which was weird. This was also leftovers from my Hip Kit. Punch some circles. This was leftovers from a Hip Kit as well. And I used a ton of the Maggie Holmes, what was the summer collection she had? I can't remember what it's called now, but used a ton of that. This was during a crop with friends that we had a challenge that we could only use stuff off of the table in the mill that was like stuff we were all getting rid of. So that was kind of an interesting challenge. Well, actually there were a whole bunch of different requirements, but there we go. Sorry about that. This is another layout from that same crop that I went to, as is this one, which I really love how simple this one is and how good I just think it looks cute. This is one where I was trying to use up some stuff. It's actually unfinished. I need to do some journaling on it, but it's there. Almost done. This one I used some printables that were a freebie, I think in my group. So this is from a printable, so is this, and then the hearts were as well. And this is about meeting, sorry, I'm out of breath for some reason. This is about meeting Megan Andrew. Alright, this one I made for Altenew. There's a blog post at Altenew about this. This one's another Altenew one. As is this one. Lots of florals. This one is a Hip Kit layout. And this one too. These are using the November kits, I believe. This one is using the Pretty Little Studio. I'm going to forget the name of this one too, but this is designed by Kim Watson. So that layout and this one, I do have a layout share on my channel showing those in more detail. This one was my Thankful layout for Hip Kit Club, using a bunch of different wreaths in rainbow. This was made for Hip Kit Club, I think using the November kits. I wanted to focus on neutrals and blues for this one. This one I made for Altenew. There is a video on the Altenew channel about this, but it's about heat embossing several times so that you get an even more raised dimensional look. So not just once, but I did this 4 times. It looks really cool. This is for Hip Kit Club, using the November kits? November. This is one I just made for fun, wanting to use up some Allie Edwards chipboard pieces, so I just made like a little collage in a ombre. This is one that I made for Altenew. There is a video on their channel about this. I made a kind of a wreath, but then it extended to the edges of the pages using, I made it holiday-ish, but it's just using a bunch of random floral images. The next several layouts are using the Hip Kit, not Hip Kit, Close to My Heart Craft with Heart subscription kits from last year. So this is meant to be a 2-page layout, but I just made it what I wanted to, so it's 2 separate layouts. So that one and then that one. This is the same thing. I made 2 separate layouts. It's meant to be 1 layout, but I made 2 separate. So that one and that one. And this one, there we go. This one as well. Cute little kitty wearing a backpack. This is like the other half of that layout. So there's that. Next we have a Hip Kit layout. This one's warped pretty much, but this is using the December kits. I love the December kits. They're so pretty. This one I wanted to use the December kits without having a completely holiday feel. So these are just some random photos of me and my daughter. And you can see it doesn't have a Christmas feel at all. This one is documenting New Year's using the December Hip Kit. So I used all the New Year's stuff. And then the last few layouts are layouts that I just made for fun recently. So I was trying to use up a Studio Calico kit that I had from a long time ago, so I used a bunch of that. And then just random stuff from my stash. So this is just burlap ribbon on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I had in my stash that I had made for something and not used. So I just threw it on a 12 by 12 background. Here's another one. I had already put these little punched circles on the layout. These are leftover bits from a 6 by 6 paper pad where the hole is. I cut those all into squares and used them to create a circle. And then I just added a bunch of stuff. These are a free printable from my Facebook group, so you can get all those little circles from that. This is a layout I created about how I started making stamps. So I wanted to use a bunch of my own stuff on it. So this is a printable that I had for, I think, a class. And then I used a bunch of my stamps as well. And then I used the Pink Fresh Studio Office Hours collection to embellish it a little bit too. This one is using the Maggie Holmes summer collection that I can't remember the name of again. Just for fun, I was trying to use up some backgrounds that I had created. So I just made this cute little layout. Here's another one where I was trying to use up a background. I had had this stitched for 4 years maybe. This was a cut file from one of my classes, and I had stitched it. And so I just added some photos of my nephews and a bunch of embellishments over each circle, and that was a fun one to make. And then this one is one that I created for Hip Kit. There's no video for this one, but I just used a bunch of embellishments on one side and then hand cut a title for this large title there. So that is my stack, guys. So lots and lots of layouts. Should we count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll see if they make it up to the camera. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. That's about halfway, so I'm guessing there's probably close to 100. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. That's Malia's, so I won't count that one. 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. I think we're going to pass 100. 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Yep, I passed 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 105. And this isn't all the layouts that I made in 2019. I also have some that are put away, some that I've sent off to Altenew for Creativation, and a whole bunch of 6x8 ones that are in a separate album. So anyway, thanks for watching with me. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below, and I hope to see you again very soon here on my channel.